Now, each of them, Slee, have had 6 operations on their hands. It must have been a tough couple of months for this pair.
Certainly a very painful, a very long journey for them, but I think well worth it now because, they've got the use of their hands back. Yes, they will have to undergo some physiotherapy since being discharged, but I think they're quite grateful for the help that they received from the doctors at Mill Park Hospital. Quite a very sad event that led up to them having to end up there. As you would remember, 2 months ago in downtown Johannesburg, we saw a fire at a government building. It was on the 23rd story is where the fire started, which is, that particular building housed 3 provincial government departments. And it took about 2 days to extinguish that fire. Joburg EMS could not handle it alone. They had to call in backup from Ekurhuleni and from Tshwane. And following that, we saw tragically the deaths of 3 firefighters in that fire, one who fell to his death and the other 2 who died trapped inside that building. So these 2 particular firefighters were really lucky to come out of that fire alive and still have their lives, even though having to undergo these painful skin grafts. Now, we did speak to them, and let's just hear about what they've been through over the past 2 months.
Process ya skin grafts ingorova process yoleluwaho ndisatuva khazwo ndasokopfunga ari khamusi ndi zvimwe zvithu zvoleluwaho ndi zvithu zvine zvakonda badi zviyavava. So then zvinyaga uri naiwe mune udzivudza uri ndikonyaga kupora ngori situation yenda vandikayo ndasingasipora ari usingoitwa zvithu zvine zvabudza screen grafts. So that's why ari vakuvona chanda zvino chivokona nga ndava skin graft zojiya chipinga badi uri uye uyerere uve so.
The recovery process, of course, is still incomplete. It's going to take another good few years.
Definitely. Doctors are saying they can't go back to work anytime soon. Not only do they have to go to physiotherapy, but they also still have to undergo psychotherapy because they're still quite traumatized over what happened at that building, what they saw, what they had to go through. They still have flashbacks, and they couldn't even attend the funerals of their colleagues. They could only watch it through the media, through visuals coming from the TV. So quite a lot more has to happen, and looking forward to actually going home, which will probably speed up their process, being around loved ones. For the past 2 months, they have not been able to be with their loved ones.
And whereabouts is the investigation into what actually happened on that day? It's funny that 2 months later, we actually still don't have answers as to not only what caused the fire at the Bank of Lisbon, but why it took so long to extinguish it, and also exactly what the status of that building was. We know, of course, following that fire, that several other government buildings were evacuated for not complying with safety regulations around occupational safety hazards. So we still don't know. All we know is that the police have launched a criminal investigation. We know that the city of Johannesburg has also launched its own investigation, as well as the provincial government has also launched their own investigations, and none of these have been completed. We spoke to the MMC of Community Safety, Michael Sun, who said that it's going to be quite a long process. We're expecting a report in the next couple of months, is what he said, and so he can't exactly tell us why it's going to take this long, but we still don't have answers, and we still don't even have the report, which was commissioned by the Provincial Infrastructure Development Department around the compliance of all these buildings that have been evacuated with government departments in them. So a lot of unanswered questions 2 months later after that horrific incident. And apart from the city itself, what is the provincial government itself saying? Is the reason why, we're still not any clearer about what actually happened?
No word. All we know is that, or all they're really wanting to say is that they are investigating the matter and that we just need to be patient. But I think the firefighters themselves are looking for answers. They want to know what happened to their colleagues, and they want answers as to why it had to take the deaths of 3 firefighters for government, to do something about the state of their buildings. Let's just take a listen to what one of the firefighters who also made it out of hospital had to say.
Things are not yet found the cause of death. To us, it's like why people are dragging their feet, not getting to get the truth, because we need a closure this year to know what happened to those people.
Closure isn't it what everyone is looking forward to, but as you're saying, no one, the people responsible aren't prepared to come forward and tell us why it is that months after the incident, we're still nowhere near even a preliminary report.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave it. Slindelo Masekando has been tracking that particular story.